Wagwarn YouTube, welcome back to the Blessed Podcast.
Yo, what's goody?
What's goody in the hoodie? So, we're back again for the next edition of this new venture of ours.
Yes.
This new business venture
You know what I mean?
we've entered into. How exciting.
Yes.
Let's get straight into it.
Let's begin.
So, verse today. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. That was verse 1 to 3, just because I felt like we needed to carry on a bit there. So I'll read it one more time. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1 to 3. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and make my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers and write them upon the table of thine heart. That's powerful, and that's like, you know, just reminding us to keep like the you know, the ways of God like
Close to our hearts,
on our mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like something that we you know, when we're at church or when we're around with the Christians, we behave. You know, we stop swearing and we're you know, closer to God or more religious. It should be something that's continual,
like a daily thing.
Yeah, always on our minds. I think that's something that for me, like, that's something I'm really trying to work on, trying to focus on God constantly, and having that influence in what I listen to and what I read, and listening to Bible studies, listening to worship music and that.
No, that's so true, because even for me, like, I feel like it's so easy to get carried away, even like in the very digital world that we live in social media, Instagram, TikToks. It's very hard to get distracted or be kind of led astray and not like be focused on God and, like, you know, living that godly life always. So that's just like a good reminder. But you know what? Despite the fact that we're in this world, we're not of it, because that's what the Bible tells us. So like, we should be able to just, you know, keep our minds on God, which is obviously, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's something like if you practice and just continually do it, it will become like a habit.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny as well, because it says, like, that verse tells us to, you know, keep the commandments close to our heart and stuff, and it's like, when I do that, I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, obviously, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, of course you are. It's like, that's exactly why we're told to do it, because that's what's good for us. God tells us He loves us. He tells us what's good for us, and it's just like, well, if that's what's good for me, if I experience blessing and growth and stuff when I do that, well, why don't I do it all the time? Why wouldn't I do it? And it's like, that's something that jars me sometimes, because it's like, I've experienced that, and it's like, why would I fall away? Why would I sin? Why would I mess up? Why would I stop doing that if I can experience God's blessing to that level? And it's just like, well, obviously, you know, it's because we're human, but it's beautiful, because it's an encouragement to just constantly be pushing myself to become better, to go closer to the Lord. So yeah, it's just it's blessed. Thank you, God. Thank you for your blessing and for your wisdom. Lovely. So this episode, we're gonna
just got a bit under the weather, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
I left the window open.
we all live under the weather, bro. The weather's you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about under the weather.
You're such a dad, bro. That's literally a dad response. Like, Dad, I'm hungry. Hi, hungry. I'm dad.
Nah.
That's
I've actually heard that one before. That's quite a good one. I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Wait, have you not?
No,
I've
heard.
like a staple one. Like, that's like a staple dad joke.
Oh no, I think I have. I think Dad used to say. I used to say, oh, I'm hungry, and he used to say, hi, I'm Jamie, nice to meet you. Like that. Yeah. So it's the same, but it's the start of the range. That's really good. I like that. I feel like dad jokes are the one, you know, like they're appropriate, and they're light-hearted, and they're still funny.
It's like, because they're cringy and they're so bad, that's what the humour is.
And you know that they're saying it
in like a
loving
way.
Yeah, and also like a loving way, just like because they love you, they're just trying to make you have a laugh. Do you know what I mean? Often
like
to cheer you up.
You can't go wrong with that joke.
Yeah.
Because it's regardless of whether you find it funny, it's just the whole
joker in it, so I appreciate a good dad joke.
That,
I appreciate it.
Not gonna lie, at first I was like, when I first heard these dad jokes, I was like, damn, these are so bad, but they're so bad they're good.
Yeah, nah, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I feel you. But yeah, so this episode, we're gonna, obviously last episode we've done a bit of an introduction.
Just like a general overview of Wagwarn, the podcast, and the meaning behind it. Just, general stuff.
Yeah, man. So this one, we're gonna kind of introduce Daniel a bit more, and kind of, I'll interview him a bit, but less of an interview, more of a chat. Like, listen, guys, we're best friends. We've been friends for time. Like, we've talked about all these things before.
Yeah.
We have conversations like this all the time. So, it's not, I don't need to sit here, get a clipboard out and be like, what's your age? What's your name? What's your middle name? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, we're just gonna sit here and have a chat. Do you know what I mean? More time. Half stuff he says I already know. Some stuff he say maybe I don't know it. Like, but I still find it interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind. It's all, I care to know you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just a chill thing, just a like an informal kind of chatty thing, just to introduce you guys a bit more, to Daniel, get to know him a bit more, and obviously he's the co-host now. He's on the scene.
Yeah, there.
Full ting, no messing about, So you need to know him. You get me? You need to know him. So, Daniel, my brother, you're obviously Nigerian.
I mean, it's not really obvious, but yeah. I mean,
it's obvious to me.
To you, it's obvious, but to them, they're like, you know what I mean?
When I say obviously, I don't mean.
I know it's not like, you don't mean it like.
I don't mean Nigerian descent. I mean born in Nigeria, like.
That's what I mean. That's
Nigerian passport.
That's what I mean. It's not obvious to them because.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you saying you're Nigerian. It's what I mean. It's very up in the air. But yeah, I was born in Nigeria, but to be honest, I don't really remember too much because I only lived there for a very, I don't say short period, but it's like the early stages of life, which I don't really recollect because I was.
So how old were you? So how many years were you in Nigeria for?
If my memory serves me correct, about 5 years. So I was born in Nigeria, and I came over to the UK when I was 5 or 6 between those times.
So about 5 years. So how old were you when you were born?
That's a good question. I think I was 12 when I was born.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was definitely 12 when I was born, and then I was then 5 because the time difference in Africa to
the time difference.
You know what I mean? The time difference. When I was born in Africa, I was 12,
and
when I came over to the UK,
went back 7 years.
I went back. You know what I mean? Because then I was 5.
I bet you were tired then after that jet lag.
You know what I mean? I was refreshed. Refreshing. You know what I mean? Because obviously when you fly from Africa, there's that times and when you cross, you just lose 7 years.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is it? Fair play.
No, but yeah.
Yeah. So 5 years. So what? And you don't really remember much about those 5 years.
I don't remember much about Africa. No. Like my sister told me stories that we had like a ton of puppies.
Puppies?
Yeah.
Like dogs?
Yeah.
No way.
But then they just became unalive because they got like ran over.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's like I don't remember this.
Were they like your personal puppies, or were they kind of more about like stray dogs? They were just kind of go and do their own thing, like cats. Was it more like cats?
I don't know the whole concept of the story. Like they were there.
Is it more like you remember kind of what the story's been told?
Like those stories I've been told, but I don't know
but you don't
the
really remember
whole
it
thing
yourself. Yeah.
because it's just like those what I was told.
No, I get you.
But I remember when I was in Ireland, because that's the first place I went to. So I went from Niger to Ireland.
Yeah, when you were about 5 or 6.
Yeah, so
and how long were you in Ireland for?
I would say about like a year max.
About a year, but you remember that?
But I remember that because I remember making friends. Like I remember like.
Fully.
Yeah, because I don't remember their names,
yeah.
but I remember that I was in and about cutting out with like people like in the area playing like in the little, because I think it was like an estate, like a little, like council housing. So it was like one of them. So obviously I was just like cutting in with like the neighbours' kids because we're all like the same age, playing like the little grass area, cutting about there.
Yeah.
And then I remember that's the first time I discovered cereal.
Cereal?
Yeah, because bro, because we have cereal back in Nigeria.
It's very different.
I wasn't really eating until about 5 years old. I was still on like, the little baby food things.
So you remember kind of like...
But then when I was in the UK, eating like cereal first time, having a honey puffs, bro, honey puffs when there was no sugar tax. Oh my days, guys! No sugar tax on the honey puffs! Oh! Cocoa Pops, everything.
You know, that's mad to me because like, I don't remember, like, similar to you, I don't really remember much about growing up. I only remember like stuff that there was like photos of.
Yeah.
Because we would look at the photos and I remember the memory. But I don't remember like experiencing a type of food or like for the first time.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like all food wise, all I know is kind of like what I enjoy now, and maybe like, you know, obviously like jollof rice is my favourite dish. First time I tried that would have been one time I came on yours, maybe that Christmas I came on yours like three or 4 years ago. Like one of those occasions about 3 or 4 years ago. That would have been. Do you know what I mean? It's like them things. I remember that, but like I don't remember like going from baby food to make.
No, I feel like it's because it's even to this day I still love cereal. You know that, like,
it just really stands out.
It's I think because it's a building block in my life because I eat cereal religiously. Like if I don't go the day without eating cereal, I was like, I've not started my day.
You say that's like your favourite snack?
What, cereal?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like I could snack on cereal like 24/7. It's just like it could be any cereal. You give me a raw Weetabix, I'll chew it. I'm being serious because there were times where I was eating like 8 Weetabix for breakfast.
Are you that guy that like puts the cereal in his mouth and then puts the milk in his mouth?
I've done it before you. You know what? Yeah, I took a handful of cereal, yammed it, and drank milk.
That's crazy.
It's just like cereal. It's just I've always enjoyed it as like a meal, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because it's just like when I first tried that cereal, I was like, wow, this is
just different.
Different from what I'm used to. Because like as an African individual, we don't really eat cereal too heavy. Like there's this one African cereal, Nigerian, I think it's a Nigerian like cereal. It's called Golden Morn.
Golden Morn.
And it's basically it's corn, but it's been ground until fine that it's now flakes. Like it's not cornflakes. Like cornflakes are quite big, but it's like a powder.
Small flakes.
It's small flakes basically, but it's like a powder, and it's like you know like the baby formulas like you normally eat that like very liquid. It's like that, but it's basically that, but for grown-ups.
Okay.
So I'll bring you some. It's lame, bro. But like having that, and then now being open to a diverse access of cereal, is like, yo, this is lame.
I suppose it's kind of like the way I kind of think of it is like, for me, you know, I'm used to, you know, roast dinners, bangers and mash, cottage pie. Like they're all lame, don't get me wrong, they're all lame, but I'm used to them. So when I go to, so if I went to Nigeria, for example, and tried a dish that I hadn't had before, it would probably just be different because it's like, it's something I've never experienced before.
Like,
do you know what I mean?
Jam and like stew and all that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even necessarily like more lame than something here.
It's just because it's new to you and it's
it's new to me. I've not tried it before. It's different flavors, it's different
textures, different combinations.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That's why I feel like food's amazing when it comes to it, because you can go to a whole different country and taste a whole different flavors that you never knew existed. And I feel like that's why with cereal for me, it was like the fact that you can have it warm or cold, and then it's like when you have it warm or cold, it differentiates the texture. When it's cold, it's always hard and crunchy. And you know, I'm really lazy when it comes to cereal. Like, I prefer soggy cereal because I don't have to chew.
It makes sense.
Because I can literally now drink it.
Yeah.
Like if it's soggy, I'll just and it's all done.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I like a little crunch though. I can't lie. I like a little crunch.
Don't get me wrong, a little crunch is good, but when I'm lazy in the morning, I'm like, I can't be asked to chew.
Yeah.
Because when it's cold milk and it's straight cornflakes, you're chewing for time.
That's true.
But when it's lukewarm milk with the cornflakes, it's like semi-soft. Exactly. So then it's got a bit of crunch. But when it's a lazy day, I'm like, I can't be asked to do anything. Bro, it's basically a porridge. I'm basically turning cornflakes to a porridge and it's lame.
What do you say about porridge though?
Porridge, it's calm, but then it's too soft.
And it gets boring so quick.
Exactly, because after the first 2 spoons,
boring.
you're like, it's dead.
Yeah, because there's just not very much flavour in there.
Unless you have like strawberries and
bananas,
fruits.
maybe.
Like when you have that,
honey.
then that's when it's. But I'm buying cornflakes. You can give me cornflakes, sprinkle a bit of sugar on it, we're good. Or honey nuts, bro. Oh,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with honey nuts.
Different. And even to make your own, some cornflakes, some groundnuts, some honey.
It's not the same, you know. I've tried it.
It's not the same.
But it's close enough.
And I feel like it's healthier, low key.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because when they make it, they probably put some products in there like us. Yeah. But no.
Yeah, man. So before we get back on topic,
yeah.
Let's just split into continents quickly. If you could eat one, if you could name one continent's food.
Asia.
Is your favourite food?
It varies, bro. Asia. Do you know how big Asia is? Like Asia goes from Japanese, right? That's a whole different culture. To then Chinese, right? Then Korean. Like they're all similar.
Same for Europe though.
But then in
Europe,
you've
got Turkey, you've got Italy, Greece.
See, but I'm not
England,
a
Germany.
fan of. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah. Italy's got the the carbs now. They got the pasta. They got all the good stuff. But when it comes to, for me, flavor wise, I feel like it's Asian cuisine. Because then you can go from a good ramen dish to like what other countries in Asia? I don't know. Sound like an absolute monkey and say country that's not Asia. What countries are in Asia?
Japan, Thailand, Vietnam. I couldn't tell you what foods they make though. I couldn't tell you what food comes from where.
Pho, I think it's pho is like a Vietnamese dish.
Yeah.
But like I've not tried that yet. I want to. But I feel like Asian cuisine for me, maybe because I'm a big fan of like the Asian culture, like anime and like Japanese culture. Maybe that's my bias to it, and because I already have like African food already down. It's like branching out a bit to some neighboring countries.
Listen, like I back that, bro, because I love rice. I love rice and I love pasta. And rice dishes and pasta dishes are just like, but for me, rice is just slightly above pasta.
Rice,
you know what I mean?
it has so much functionality. You can make it into rice and stew. You can make it jollof rice, rice and peas.
Rices.
You can dash in the burrito.
Rice with stuff, with a sauce on it, or rice as a dish.
Honestly,
rice on its own, like, bro.
It's endless, bro. That's why rice is just a staple.
And I might be wrong, but I think the continent of Asia have got like the best
rice.
Yeah, the best rice and the most dishes with rice as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? So like, for someone that loves rice, I think Asian
cuisine
in all these different countries is probably, you can't go
wrong. And I feel like they always use staple foods such as rice, noodles, or like things of these sorts.
Yeah, exactly. Noodles as well.
Then they construct the dishes around it. So it's like you can't go wrong with a rice dish. But then it's by adding the pork belly or the different type of teriyaki sauces on it, and like even sushi, fish and rice.
Oh, bro, don't.
Sushi is rice wrapped in fish with some seaweed, bro.
Don't even get me talk about sushi.
You know what I'm saying? And you can have that cold. So you see what I'm saying? It's like with the Asian cuisine, it's got
sushi.
A variety of food, hot, cold, and I want to try. If I could try every like dish from the Asian region, I would. I feel like that's probably where, for me, the best foods would be.
Bro, I look like I'm listening to you right now, but I'm just thinking about sushi. I'm just, my mouth is watering, bro.
Did you know that?
Just unreal.
Wasabi that we use isn't actually wasabi. It's horseradish. Because
real wasabi is really expensive. And
it only lasts a couple hours. Once you harvest it, mash it, everything, you have to eat it within a certain amount of hours, or like there's a time frame because it goes off and it's not the same.
Mine just has to be even more because I love sushi, and it's like if I was to go to one of these countries that make sushi, like
and they have
really good sushi, like fresh sushi and that, bro, it'd just be unreal.
It'll be different, it would be pricey, but it'll be worth it.
Not even necessarily, bro. Like, cause I've never been, but like in my head, like for a pint, for example, because every pub sells a pint, it's like 2 or 3 quid. Coffee, it's like 2 or 3 quid. Everyone sells coffee, it's like 2 or 3 quid. If only one gaff sold coffee, it would be like 10 quid. Do you know what I mean? Like like here, you know, you've got a few sushi restaurants, Yo Sushi, all these different places. So it's going to be more expensive than independent ones because they're better. It's going to be more expensive. Just hold that, you know, the grind to come out.
Okay.
It's going to be more expensive, but if you go to somewhere, one of these countries that makes it, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking because it's more common,
more accessible.
It'd be cheaper. I don't know whether that's true, but that's my kind of like that's my thinking. You get me, like in my head.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
But whether that's actually me, I don't know.
Yeah. But no. Yeah.
But man, I love food. I love food, man. I can't lie to you.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we got a bit sidetracked there. Yeah. So you went to Ireland next. So you, about a year in Ireland, and then where did you go after Ireland?
After Ireland, went to Essex area. So Essex, Sturrock, Ockenden, like that was the area I lived for. Like
you were there for a minute, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there for a hot minute. I did secondary school, but I went to several schools. So did secondary school. I did primary school at. Where did I do? No, actually. Where was I? There was another school before this. But I went to several schools. Like I moved around. Before Essex, there was somewhere else that I forgot about. But I forgot.
You don't remember
like, I know.
Like a town, some town or something.
Yeah, it was like a different town, but it was actually within.
In England.
In England.
I'm guessing near London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was within that London region, like in and out of London.
Yeah.
So we'll just cover the whole thing as London. So it was.
So you spent a few years in London, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then went there. Then went to like Essex, Sturrock, and then Basildon, which is just like outside of London. Well, it's more than outside. It's a minute from London, but yeah. And then after Basildon, Notts, and then still in Notts.
And you've been in Notts ever since.
Yeah.
So just quickly, what was London? What was living in London like, or like living in the London
living
area?
in that London area, like that kind of region, it was quite busy. Like definitely quite busy. It was like obviously the closer you get to London, the busier it is. So obviously like Basildon being quite on the outskirts, and it's like I don't know which borough it actually is in, but like it was quite like there was farms, like so it was more countryside vibes. That's what I was saying, because you could see the horses, you could actually like
that's blessed,
so it was like so that was probably the best kind of experience because it was quite calm. Neighborhood wasn't too bad, but the only thing was like transport was quite a way where you could have to like track a bit. Yeah, but like living like London,
it wasn't that kind of full rowdy London lifestyle.
It wasn't. You got a bit of both.
Got a little mix.
With certain areas, they were more busy and more social, but then with others, it was like.
But nothing more busy than Nottingham.
Yeah, nothing as busy as
Notts.
Like Nottingham is like depending on obviously when it comes to like Christmas or like certain events, that's when Notts gets more busy. But in like the general overview and perspective of things, like where I've lived wasn't too bad. It was just quite standard stuff.
That's calm. And then obviously been in Notts for 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And lived in different areas of Notts.
Yeah.
You got bare stories about that,
bro,
but might delve into those stories another time.
Yeah, definitely.
Nah, we got some good stories about Notts.
Yeah, Notts isn't too bad. Notts is pretty chill. Like I feel like Notts is like the whole Midlands aspect is very, very good in terms of like business, because you're not too busy, but you're not busy.
Yeah.
Like there's always something going on if you know the right people, like you know the right connection type of vibe. But it's calm. Like people are way nicer than like than like London and them areas. It's just like I feel like everyone's just busy.
People
they're like on their own grind. Like go and get to work.
Like in Midlands and more time north as well. Like I don't really know bears about north. I know people from the north, and they say like northern people are really friendly allegedly, but like I feel like they're just more relaxed. They're not as busy. They're not rushing around. They're not as it's not as active. So you can be a bit more chill out. You can kind of be a bit more friendly, be a bit more hi, hello, what's going on kind of thing. You get me? Like in London, you know, I've been in London bears, I've experienced it all the time, like, people are just on their grind, partly because they're busy, it's active and everything 24/7 just going, but also partly because it's so busy, there's so many people, you can't say hi to everyone, you can't smile at everyone, so it's like, instead of smiling at everyone, no one smiles at anyone, instead of smiling at someone, do you know what I mean? Like, which is, I don't know, man, it's not all, it's not the full case, obviously, but it's a bit sad.
It's just like, majority of the time, everyone's just quiet.
And you see it all the time. If you live in London, or if you spend a long time in London, you see it like there's some stuff that goes on and it's sad, man. Like the way people treat each other and stuff. Like just disrespectful, man. Like, so it's peak, but you know that's just how it goes within it. But yeah, that's calm. To be fair, that's different cities have different experiences.
Yeah.
That's calm. Because I didn't know, obviously I knew you spent time in London, I didn't know like to what level though, innit? Like, obviously it wasn't that kind of like full London lifestyle, so that's calm, because I've thought about that before, like would I want to live there, would I not? Like, I'm not really fussy in it, but it doesn't really entice me, you get me? It seems a lot, you know, it seems a lot like, you know, I like being a bit more friendly, smiling at people and getting smart back and stuff, and a little slower and that, not full pace all the time. But yeah, man. So that's calm. So let's just rewind a minute and just talk about like immigration and that, and moving countries. Yeah. The immigration process. What that was like. What that looked like logistically. How did it work? And also like, how was it for you? How was it for your family? How did you know? Obviously, you were quite young at the time. How did you take it? You know, did it have an effect on you? You know what I mean?
Like you said, I was quite young, so I didn't really know. Like, I was just following like where mum and dad went, because obviously that's like they knew best at the time. So like they obviously came over because, you know, better life, better foot in the door type of vibe. So like I'm only coming to grips now at the age of 21 of like the whole legal process and how like strenuous it actually is. So you have to actually apply for a visa, and then you get like the visa approved depending on the visa you get. So you can apply it on like what's the type of visa? It's just like visit, like kind of business visa. There's refugee kind of visas. So depending on the visa you apply for, depending on obviously durations. But the one that I'm currently doing is like residency type of vibe. So you gotta get a visa. Once you get the visa, you gotta apply for residency. So there are two different processes. But I'm not gonna lie, the processes like keep changing every like 2 years, and it's like really you have to stay on top of it, because if you don't, it's going to be a long day. So because
they make minimal effort. It's on you. You've got to make the effort and make sure you stay on top of it. Otherwise, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm studying immigration law this year, final year law at Trent, and I chose it as one of my modules. I'm studying that this year, and it's crazy. It really is crazy. And like studying it, I can tell you that it's only by God's grace that you're here now.
Honestly,
it's only by God's grace.
I know it's by God's grace, because before it used to be you have to be here for 2 years, or was it 2.5? I think it was 2 years or 2.5 years before you can become a citizen. But then it's recently where they changed it to 5. So now you have. We were on that 2-year program, but then complications happened. Then we had to reapply, and then by reapplying, which makes no sense, which is very jarring, because we were almost to complete the first 2 years, and then we had to reapply. So then by reapplying, it negated the previous 1 and a bit months that we were. But then to me that makes no sense, because if we were on your system previously for nearly 2 years, couldn't you just be like, actually they're ready? But then why do you have to now wait again?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So it's like per application.
Obviously it makes sense, but it's stupid.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's like, okay, now by reapplying it negates everything else. So now you have to wait another 2 years, and I've been waiting for those 2 years. They changed it to 5. So then it's like, cool, so now you got to get a residency, which is like 2K per person. So it's like, it's spending, but at the same time, it covers NHS and all of the other good stuff. Because obviously I had my appendix removed and I got the bill for that. Jesus Christ. Like 7K. I was like, yay! My pocket.
That's crazy.
My chest. Because I was in the hospital and then they gave me the receipt. I was like, what do you want me to do? I can't pay this.
And you know what's mad? It's like, you know, maybe I'm kind of taking it a bit far, but like I'm more German than I am English. So obviously I'm British. I've got a British passport, but I'm a dual citizen. My mum's German, so at the moment I'm currently going through the process of getting a German passport, and so then I'll have 2 passports, and I'm half German, a quarter English, and a quarter Scottish. So I'm half British and half German, but I'm more German than English. And if I go to the doctors, if I go to the hospital, it's all free through the NHS.
Yeah.
No, and I'm more German than English. But when you go, because of the system, you got to pay 7 bags.
But that's
just crazy.
The thing was, I think the card, the biometric card covers that. So I think Okay. So that's what I'm saying, because it covers the NHS bills. So any.
And how much is the biometric card?
2K.
2. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So you'd rather pay 2K. Than 7.
Yeah.
And that's just like.
And that softens the blow. It's 2K is the lot.
No, but I mean,
it softens the blow.
Imagine if you're going checkups regularly, you got to pay like these, bro. Phone calls, just going to the GP to get your average checkup is like a couple bags, and it's like, I thank God that honestly, He's allowed me to be in a country where healthcare is like, you know, free to an extent. But at the same time, if it was in America where, you know, I say it's a longer thing, but the biometrics, it's a bit spenny, but it's like, it's residency and it's like evidence to get the next step in the process. So after this next renewal, by God's grace, I think it's a blue passport now. I don't know if it's
it looks black though.
Whatever they changed it to. So get a new thing there. But it's like, my brothers don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
So they're chilling, like, because they were both born here. So by birth.
And even that is a blessing. Because that means that if there was any issue with you or Marjay, because you've got 2 youngers that've got the British passport, they would be more time, enough reason for you guys to be allowed to stay.
Not us. Not me. I'm not covered. Only like that. That's what.
No, more time because of your influence in their life, because of bringing money in, because of the
but things like
that you've had in their life.
I'm like, when it comes to like the laws, like the judge could be more lenient. But okay, cool. If I'm an active brother in their life, or like an active, like you said, influencer in their lives, and like I'm doing things for them, like actively, like a carer per se, then I'm more likely to say. But if the judge can be like, no, they can just survive a mum.
Yeah, well,
That's how it's.
Yeah, I think it would be unlikely because even like now, like the fact that you're working now during you're working now to provide the money for them to be able to, you know, simple things like get to school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it would be unlikely that. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, there's loads of factors to it, but all I'm saying is that even that is just a blessing in itself.
That contribution towards that. Yeah.
And that's just kind of a side note, but it's like you know. Sometimes you might go to work and you might be like, oh, this is giant, I have to go to work, this, that. And it's like, the fact that you've got a job and can work is a blessing, because that, by working, if there was any issues down the line, by having a job now and by working the amount you're working, that could have a strong influence on whether or not you'd be allowed to stay or not. And
I feel like there's, like I said, the other factor, I think another factor was like, just being a part of society and contributing to, like,
going to church,
like society as a whole. So being like engaged in like a community, the judge can see that. But actually, by taking him out of this, he's actually been, you know, useful. It's not like, say if I was like a GM guy going more like, you know, been in prison type of vibe. It's like you're not contributing anything. You're more of a menace. That gives them more reason to send you back. So it's like, even just things like that people nowadays think, oh, being role model is cool. Like, that could affect your chances of living in a country, because they'd be like, actually, nah, you've been in prison 4 times, you're not, you know, reconstructing yourself, you're not showing remorse, why are you still in this country kind of vibe. That gives them a basis to be like, actually, we can deport you you on these kind of terms.
Yeah.
So even I just thank God that I didn't end up on those like type of way, because it's easy to like, I'm not gonna lie, even like someone like me, because there were times where we were struggling financially, and then you can see all these people that are doing the illegal things, making money, you know, and living that fast life, and you're like, you know,
it looks good.
It looks good.
Enticing,
And it's like, you know what, I could just tap into it for a bit, get a bit of money, help them out here and there. But because even if I do it, it's just cash in hand. There's no legal trace of actually you earning money. So it's like, even if you're providing mom, helping her pay the bills, when it comes down to it, they're like, hey, what job do you have? I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm selling.
Doing Santan. Doing that West.
I'm doing squares. You know what I'm saying? You can't be. Imagine the junkers, oh, what job do you have? Oh yeah, one boss squares still. That's a fraud charge.
Yeah, just.
You see what I'm saying? So obviously, because I know bare people that were on that type of lifestyle. I'm just thankful that God brought you in my life and people like you to just keep me on the right path, because it's so easy going down this like wrong road. I even thank God for my mum raising me up what she did, because honestly, it's easy, especially when you're in school, bruv. When you see everyone else
that environment, you know what I mean?
Because like you seen people that are just doing it on a regular, and yeah, they might have their own reasons to do it, but see, me, I can say relate to the struggle. I'm like, you know what, I do need the peace, but at the same time, rather than me cheating and taking shortcuts, I'm like persevering through the struggle, through the hardships, and I thank God for it, because now, like, if I was to say try to battle a case on my own, of like say immigration thing, I know that cool, I've done this, I've had this job, I've been contributing this to society, I've not been in prison, I've got me being at uni, cause studying, trying to get a degree, and you know, I'll be like, this is what I want to do in the future type of vibe. That I could have a whole solid defense for myself to fight a legal case of immigration type of vibe.
And plus you'd have Sammy Mack as your lawyer, you know what I'm
exactly, so it's like a win-win, you know what I'm saying? And God's there as well, so he's being God. No one, you know what I mean?
It's all blessings.
But no, like the whole, so even like the whole immigration process, it's like I'm still trying to get a grips of it, because even me, like right now I'm saving up for the renewal, which is, you know, spending.
It's a bump.
It's a price, but at the same time it's beneficial, because once I do that it gives me another 2 years, 2.5 years, and after that's gone.
Bro, my margin is 50, around the age of 50. I don't know exactly. Maybe older than 50. I'm not sure exactly how old she is. And she's not even British citizen. She's gonna do it like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. And it's quay, man. It's so quay.
It's really long.
It's spenny and it's quay, and they got one document wrong. They sent the wrong document in, and that was it. And they had to do the whole thing, and they had to pay it, and they didn't get a refund. They had to pay it back. If I get my facts right, I don't know. My facts slightly wrong, but my point is, it's quay and it's spenny, and it's like, and I'm talking a lady that's been in the UK for 30 years. Yeah. Something like 30 years. Got 5 kids. You know, fully had a job. She was a chef. You know, home educated.
Mom was a chef.
Yeah, man.
That's bro.
What do you mean?
Her food's leg, bro.
You know she was a chef. You know about my food, bro. Where did I get it from?
No, but I know she did it professionally. Her food's leg, bro.
Yeah.
Sam's mom's food.
It's factual.
Chef kiss, bro.
It's factual.
But no.
You know, 5 kids, homeschooled 5 kids, married. It's just like, and she's not even, obviously, like, because of all them things, like, because even just like married and stuff, she's here to stay. You know what I mean? So that's not, you know, it's not like I'm worried about that. What my point is, getting a British citizenship. It's just like, you know, I'm guessing in her head, it's kind of like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean?
It's a mission.
What's the point? Do you know what I mean? You know, she's here to stay now. Is it even worth it? Because it's so quaint, it's so expensive, man. It's just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a moot point. You get me? Like, you can talk about it. Like,
it's a great
is it
area.
good? Is it bad?
It's a great area because
it's good for some stuff.
That's
it's
what I'm
bad for
saying.
some stuff.
It's a good way. Like, don't get me wrong. The whole process is good for like filtering out, like, you know, just how getting here legally. You know, just filtering out those type of issues. But I feel like they make it extremely hard.
Yeah.
They make it harder than it should be.
And for me, having studied it this last term, like it's big thing. Like there's different aspects, and then there's like good bits, positive bits, negative bits, this, that, whatever. But for me, the override, if I could say one thing about the immigration system, it's that it's basically, it's just really selfish. It's basically, what can we as a country get by having you here? So if we can't get something from you, then we don't want you.
That's with most countries. Well, I say most first world countries, because it's like no.
I don't know.
No. First world. Which other second or third world country are that hard to get passports to?
I don't know. To be fair, I'm not really an expert in the country.
No, I'm just talking about in the general terms of like in America, you have to either be like getting a green card is a mission.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in America as well.
Even
but I think America and Britain are two. They're at the top.
Japan's the top.
Really? It's crazy, huh?
If you're not like Japanese by heritage, it's basically impossible to get a citizenship. Honestly, bro, you can work there for 50 years and still like. I genuinely speak, the way your mom's like been here for like 30, you could. If I was born in like Japan and I was black, it's possible.
That's mad.
Like it's not impossible. It's just unless you're. If I was the only way I can get a citizenship would be, say, if I was part of the Olympic team, like up there, but then you can only have a Japanese citizenship. You couldn't have a dual. So
I mean that's a different thing. That the whole passport, like how many passports you can hold, that's different, right?
No, it's just, it links into it.
It links into it, but like Britain, obviously you can have duals, you can have two, but that's every country's got their own opinion on that, and that's not as bad because. If you're sitting in a country and you've got their passport, then
no, but because having a Japanese passport is like the world's most powerful passport.
Yeah,
you can enter like nearly 300 countries.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. That's why we see that as a negative.
But that's why it's so hard to get one.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah,
because also
it makes sense. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. With the power of it's so high valued, they're not just going to give it out to everyone.
Yeah,
you'd have to contribute highly to the Japanese community and government extremely. So if you're representing them in any sports or any like kind of top end kind of things, because there was this one, I don't know, this New Zealand rugby player who was half New Zealand, half Japanese, and they said that if he was gonna join the Japanese team, he would have to relinquish his New Zealand passport because when Japanese people want to represent it, it's just them type of like you said, it's somewhat selfish with like the immigration system, like Joshua, for example.
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, so when it comes to like Anthony Joshua, obviously when he was representing Great Britain in like amateur boxing in the Olympics, he was representing Great Britain. Obviously, he's Nigerian by like obviously lineage, but obviously because he's born here and he's representing Britain, so he's British. But at the same time, like if like you said, if you're not contributing heavily to the like Britain as a whole, then it's like harder. So like if I was some sort of athlete, it would be easier for me to then bypass all this paperwork because it's like, okay, I'm gonna be in the limelight and they're gonna want me to represent them. So by me representing them, it's like, okay, cool, we'll dash you a little passport so you can say you're British, so you represent us in these events, that type of thing. But then obviously for like the average Joe, you'd have to go for the paper, all this, and like it's really tedious. You just literally have to be patient and push through, just keep your head down and grind, which some people can get fed up with and just I might just go back home type of vibes and just know. But I feel like when you push through and you persevere, it's beneficial then because like a UK passport is up there in one of the world's powerful passports. So obviously it's not the one, but it's up there. So even just having like a citizenship is good. But now the whole thing with the what's her name, Patel.
Let's not get into that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like it links to it because like imagine I'm doing all this right to get a passport,
and then it just
be a citizenship, and all of a sudden Mrs. Patel is like, we don't want you anymore. We could take it back. So all the 10, 15 years of me waiting in line, filling out forms, getting a passport, it's now going down the drain. And it's like, why are you now gonna pass a bill?
It's just
like
such a
that?
selfish way of looking, because it's like for her, it's alright for her to do it because she's not in that situation. But if she put herself in someone's shoes, that they've spent all that time and all that, going through all that, what they've gone through.
No, I'm pretty sure her parents and forefathers did exactly the same thing. Because for them to become citizens and for her to get to the position she's in, she had to go through all that struggle. Obviously, back then it was probably easier. There was not as long as wait, but you still have to be.
But now she's in that position. It's easy for her to forget it. It's easy for her to forget what she's gone through, because 100% she's gone through stuff. Do you know what I mean? She's like Asian, right?
Indian, I think.
Indian.
No, I might be wrong, but she's like those descents.
Especially in the position she's in, government official, high up in there. 100% she's gone through stuff. Do you know what I mean? So for her to like say the stuff she comes out with, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't really understand it. It's weird. Like, does she just forget what she's gone through because she's in a good place now? Does she just ignore it? Like, I don't know, man. It's weird, but it's sad, man. But hopefully
we'll just pray about it.
And hopefully, like, these lawyers and judges and stuff are able to kind of, make sure it's all
make the correct decision.
Yeah, like, a good way of doing it. But yeah, man. So on immigration, I'd like to get Parsa.
Yeah.
We've got a friend Parsa who is half Bulgarian and half Iranian, and they came to the UK just 5 or 6 years ago, so it's quite fresh for them. So we'll talk. We'll come back to this topic of immigration and talk about that again, and get his kind of perspective on it. Maybe his sister's perspective on it as well. What it was like. Because I know they've been through some stuff. You know what I mean? And praise God, they're so positive all the time. But they've been through some stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that'd be interesting. But yeah, so just to wrap it up, obviously, like, you went to Nigeria last summer. So like, what's the kind of situation now? What's the position you're in now? Here in England, experiencing Nigeria again at this age, having gone through what you've gone through, this immigration, these different countries, different schools, and that. What's the situation now?
I'm very, very grateful for what my parents did, bringing me here for a better life. Because don't get me wrong, Nigeria is a beautiful country, but there are aspects in like the economy that are not as great as here, and certain conditions aren't as great. So I just want to thank God that I'm in the position I am, even though it could be worse, but at the same time, there's always someone out there that has it worse than I do. So it makes me grateful, because like going back, I was hit with like reality in terms of like I could have grown up here, in terms of like it could have been worse off. I'm not saying my life would have been worse in Nigeria or anything. It's just that there are some aspects, like in the UK, you don't have to worry about powers being cut off.
Yeah.
But that's like a very common thing in Nigeria, where the light just goes. NEPA is taking lights. NEPA is gone. Just chop lights. And if you don't have a generator,
then you just gotta wait.
You wait. And the thing is, it just shows that the economy is different, because the fact that it's not even just you, it's like the whole area of that electricity provider has shut down. So everyone in that vicinity is in the same thing. So it's like, it's different, because I don't have to worry about that here. I don't have to worry about no light type of vibes. But at the same time, it's made me realize how hard people work back in Nigeria, because like you see the talent that people have. Like Nigerians are very, very hard work. Like they are determined. Like people are out here making shoes from tires, and like they're putting in a shift, because if they don't, then there's no money. There's no money, then no food, no light, them type of things. So they're finding creative ways to get things done, whether it's by polishing shoes. But when they polish the shoes have been polished.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing your reflection clean. Like you don't, like they do it with such perfection and with such skill that it's like, you know what? These guys are hard workers, and they're just trying to like survive basically. and it's like I'm grateful that I'm not saying I'm not in that kind of constant battle for like food and resources. Whereas here, I can go to Aldi, spend like a tenner, be chilling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm privileged. Like it made me realize my privilege. I would say the privilege that I now have as a Western individual compared to like an African. I'm not, negating my heritage whatsoever. Like I went back to even learn more about where I'm from, and it was insightful. Going to Ogun State and going to the mountain tops and actually learning about my heritage and like actually cool, these were my people are from. So it was an eye opener, and I feel like everyone needs to do it. It's because it's helped me become one with myself, because there was a time period where I hated being African because I got bullied for it. Like in primary schools, like being black, having these black features, big lips, having the accent, eating certain foods, like I'll bring J rice into school, and people, your rice is orange, and they're like, oh, why you eat banana and rice? Like I was getting drilled, why you got big lips for all of this? And then it's like I really, there was like some internal hatred of me, like because I wasn't accepted in society for who I was. I was like, I'm not African, I'm not Nigerian, I didn't want to accept it. But then I was like, I can't run away from it because it's a part of me. It's a part of who I am. So it's like, you know what? Going back helped me really embrace it and reconnect. Like, you know what? This is where I come from, and I'm not ashamed to be like, I'm Nigerian. And yeah, Nigeria isn't like, the best, but I'm still gonna rock it because that's where I come from. And I'm not gonna like ignore the struggles that my parents went through and the battles that they went through to get me to where I am. Because without that, I wouldn't be here. So them fighting to come over here, them doing what they did, I'm 100% grateful for. And even the fact that I'm here and I'm more privileged than some people back there where I have clean water. Some places don't have clean water. You know what I'm saying? Obviously some places do. And it's like just that whole like time I was there, I was just like grateful because like
just put some perspective
on it. Like my life could have been worse off than it is, and like I could have, because like the healthcare is poor. I'll say it is like it's not the best over there. So imagine if I got appendicitis over there, that to them is a serious thing. But over here, simple keyhole surgery, got it done in 6 hours, and I was out of the hospital in 24 hours type of vibe. But obviously in Nigeria, if you didn't have the best money to pay for stuff, you know what I'm saying, it would have been tricky. So I'm just grateful, and it's just helped me accept myself and actually find my identity in who I am. Obviously I know my identity is in Christ, but at the same time,
but like your carnal identity, your worldly identity.
Like so I can understand, okay, cool, I'm Nigerian, and when I say that, I'm not just saying it, oh, that's what it says on paper. I'm saying it with chest, like, yeah, that's where I'm from. These are my people. And it took me a while to get to that point, to just, be able to embrace that that's my culture, and that's a part of me. But no, it's motivating me to work harder, because they're my peers that are over there, that are putting blood, sweat and tears. Like, I'm telling you, like, these guys are developing skills like cutting hair, engineering. Like you would see the same guy that works on your car will give you a trim.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I need more than one source of income. So you gotta be very handy. So it's like, if they can do it within their setting, what's stopping me from pushing myself?
It's true, man. It's true, man. And that's like kind of in this British. Is it British? Is it Western?
Yeah.
This culture where it's just like, very selfish, very, get, do as little as you can, lazy, trying to just get money for doing as little as you can and stuff like this, and yeah, it's just very different. But I like that, man. I like that encourages you to work harder and put in the graft, because it's not about comparison. It's not about comparing yourself to people here or comparing yourself to people in Nigeria. Do you know what I mean? It's about you, working as hard as you can. Do you know what I'm saying? For you, you know what I'm saying? For God, and the fact that experiencing that has encouraged you to push yourself. That's just a blessing. I mean, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's incredible. Thank you, bro, for talking about all them things, opening up and stuff, and talking about this stuff, man, because it's interesting. Like I know, like you guys, you know, if you don't find it interesting, that'll baffle me. But I'm sure you'll all find it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sick stuff. To be fair, man, it's sick stuff. So thank you for that, bro. And I'm sure, like, you know, we've probably just touched the surface. So I'm sure, like, we'll talk about all this stuff again more in the future and hear more stories and different experiences and stuff. But yeah, that's sick. It's nice for these guys to get a bigger picture, kind of who you are, a more rounded picture of your experiences, your like growing up, your life and this kind of thing. So that's sick, bro. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. That's where we're going to round off the episode here now. So hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of the day, and remember, don't stress,
stay blessed.